link in our bio, and there you find all the information. So with that being said, I'm gonna add Dave to the call as every Thursday. Welcome, David.
Hi.
How are you? I just saw you've been live all day long, so I'm so excited to have you join our live session too. Welcome back to our Thursday live session here on the J. Wiltman account.
This is the highlight of my week. I love it. I'm wiping away the tears. I had an extraordinary guest, Patrick Holmes, who talked about the purpose code. And, my purpose is to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. As Chief Chancellor of Junior Achievement University, what a great platform in order to empower people to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun with their lives. And being able to utilize Junior Achievement for an award for my 2-minute drill show, which is now in India, by the way, on Jio.
Wow,
so I know
congrats.
we're we're worldwide. It's growing. People are loving it. This week's winner, Sharon, who you'll get to talk to, has the Sharon code. I just got off the purpose code. It's incredible. I just want to encourage everyone, try out. We're going to also enhance the trying out process and give feedback to people. We're growing and expanding just like Junior Achievement, here to help and be of service.
That's incredible. So everybody who's watching us, drop in the chat where you're from. Maybe some of you guys are actually from India, so you can now watch the current season of the 2-minute drill show. This would be amazing. And Dave and I, we're always excited to see where you guys are listening and watching from. So for everybody who doesn't know what JA is, as I say all the time, maybe you just found us on Instagram and you saw, oh, who's, Dave Meltzer, what is he doing with JA Worldwide? So JA prepares young people around the world for employment and entrepreneurship. What that means is we go into schools and universities and we offer programs for kids so they can really learn entrepreneurship. And I took part in the program myself back when I was living in Germany. And I was in the company program, which is our flagship program. So there you actually create a real product or a real service, and then you generate real revenue, right? So it's like the whole cycle of a startup. And I'm not sure if many of our viewers know that you, David, you've been part of JA2. And the question of today is, I always kind of source up questions from the alumni network for you is, how was your experience back with JA, and what were the things you actually learned while you were in the JA program?
Well, for me, consistent behavior was needed. I had 5 siblings and a mom that didn't have enough time necessarily to make sure that we weren't in trouble. So Junior Achievement to me was something that I attached to and became very inspirational because I wanted to buy my mom a house and a car. So Junior Achievement seemed to be purpose-driven at a young age for me, that it was going to equip me with the capabilities to fulfill my dream of being able to make enough money to build my own business. Back then, I'm so old, I'm just going to share this with everyone. I told myself, I said, I want to make $1 million. I told my mom that I was going to make $1 million after I came through Junior Achievement. I was going to retire, buy her a house and a car. So that $1 million was going to last me a lifetime, and buy my mom a house and a car. Of course, I grew up older and wiser and realized that would just be a start for me. But what I really remember, which is so much fun, is my first project for Junior Achievement was a giant ice cream cone that you would put a banana split inside of this giant ice cream cone.
And
that
sounds amazing.
Yeah. Well, later on, they created the waffle cone. And in fact, one of the biggest cities in the world for Junior Achievement is San Diego. They actually have a whole Junior Achievement town in San Diego, California, where I'm from. And we've had a long-lasting program there. But one of the most wealthy people started that exact idea, that company, and I have a home on the beach 4 doors down where he owns the entire block of the boardwalk, probably worth over $100 million. That there, $100 million is enough to buy your mama a house and a car and retire. But he started with what was called the Big Olaf, which was a waffle cone to put sundaes inside. So you never know how big your idea is. Make sure you ask for help. Junior Achievement's an extraordinary place to go to get that help. There's so many wonderful mentors, people. I surrounded myself with the chancellors of Junior Achievement University, the biggest, Brian Tracy, Bob Proctor, Sharon Leck. You don't get any bigger in the world. Jack Canfield, he sold over 500 million books, Chicken Soup for the Soul. And they're all willing to help you and give their content to you. So if you haven't looked at or got involved with Junior Achievement, this is why I'm here every week. And with 2 Minute Drill aligned with Junior Achievement, we're going to change the world.
Yeah, and honestly, Dave, we can't thank you enough for all the resources you give back to the alumni community. It's books, it's courses, it's all on your website. And guys, if you want to find out more about David, you can go to the link in our bio. We have his email address. You can text him. His website is linked, so you can find incredible things. And honestly, David, on behalf of JA, we want to thank you for not only being on this show every Thursday in your very busy schedule, but also to your continuous support for JA and really help us grow this alumni community around the world and really support the students around the world who really, you know, learn the skills they need in their life, right? Because in school, usually it's not a hands-on learning. It's usually like a teacher telling you things, and then so many people ask themselves, like, do I actually need this in life? And the skills you learn at JA, honestly, these are the things you really need moving forward if you're an entrepreneur or if you work at a corporate or another company.
Absolutely. And I'm just so excited too to have you meet with and talk with Sharon Eddings. She is doing an incredible job with not only making money, but helping people and having fun with her business, completely aligned with the objectives of Junior Achievement and the alumni of Junior Achievement.
Awesome. So as usual, I don't want to kick you out, Dave, but I have to because Sharon is already in the waiting line. Thanks again for being on the show, and we see you next week, Thursday.
See you next week. Thank you. Check out 2 Minute Drill and Junior Achievement. We love you.
Thank you. All right. Thanks, David, for being on the show. Now I'm going to ask Sharon to come on the live stream with us. And as we said, you guys, everybody who's watching, you can be part of the next season of 2 Minute Drill. And just to give you a bigger picture, it's not just like any kind of live show on YouTube. It's actually streamed in a lot of countries. It's everywhere. It's on Amazon TV. It's now in India, as David mentioned. So you guys can join it if you go to our link in bio, and then you can apply, and then maybe you can be on the next show and pitch with David Meltzer. So as I can see, we're waiting for Code with Sharon. The beauty of live streams, right? You never know how long it takes if someone jumps in. Until Sharon joins, I'm going to just quickly show you the slide again. So we're on episode number 5 right now. We will have 13 episodes on the 2 Minute Drill because every episode in the season, David Meltzer and his incredible colleagues from the jury, they give out the JA Impact Award. So what does it mean to have the JA Impact Award? Basically, they award it to the people who have the business with the most impact. So we already had Alex on the show. We had, oh, there she is.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you. So I was just talking about the previous winners of the JA Impact Award and how excited we are to get to know you. And I'm not sure if you know, but all the alumni around the world, they have the chance to be part of the second season of 2 Minute Drill. So we not only want to get to know you, but we also want to get, you know, your tips and tricks from behind the scenes on how they can also be part of the show and make the perfect pitch. So welcome to the show, Sharon.
Thank you for having me. Hi, everybody.
So Sharon, first of all, thanks for joining us today and congratulations on winning the JA Impact Award. And what we would love to hear from you is obviously your 2-minute pitch or an introduction on who you are and what you do.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Sharon Eddings. I am located in Detroit, Michigan. I have a startup, Code with Sharon, and we are in the educational technology field, also known as EdTech. And what we do is we provide STEM education, coding lessons for our target markets.
That's so awesome. So for everybody, I mean, I know what STEM is because it's part of our, you know, JA, all the things what we do, but I'm sure a lot of people, they don't necessarily know what STEM actually means. So can you go a bit more into detail and explain what does STEM mean and how can it be helpful for everybody around the world?
Okay, so STEM, and it's called code or coding, and that's in the technology sector, right? But when you get into the educational sector, it's called STEM, and STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And so what it is a computer programming language that allows developers to develop things like websites, mobile games, and apps. And so that's what we provide for our target markets. And so we are very excited to be here. We really had a wonderful time pitching on 2-Minute Drill. And so we're excited to talk to you about that experience and what other people can do to be successful when they pitch.
That's amazing. And the first question is, how did you get to know about the show and how did you apply for the show? Because, for example, in the first episode we had on our live stream, we had Nikki and she was saying she literally just DM'd David Meltzer and then she landed on the show, right? So how was it for you?
Okay, so how I met David was I won him as a mentor. And so through Hello Alice. And so we were applying for grants. A lot of companies like mine were affected due to COVID. Mm-hmm. And so we actually have pivoted our target market. And so our pitch has changed. And so I'll share that with you later if we have time. And so I won him as a mentor. He was my mentor. And he's so open to talk to anybody. And he gave us his number or his email. And he said, you can contact us. And so after our first conversation, he gave me tips on, how to pivot my business, how to be to go after my new target market and things like that. And so he invited me to pitch, and so I applied.
I mean, that's, guys, that's as easy as it can get. You have now the full contact to David Meltzer. We put it all on our website, so just go for it and try it. And if it doesn't work out this time, maybe it works out another time or for another show, another grant. So also what I would love to ask is, usually STEM and coding and all of these things are very male dominated areas usually. And I'm so happy to see you as a woman stepping up in this field and be like, hey, listen, we can do that too. So can you explain us a bit more how you got into the STEM area and what brings you joy working in this field?
Okay, so how I got in it, and it's actually in my pitch, is that my third son was born sickly. And I needed a job that provided better healthcare benefits. And so I didn't know what I wanted to do. At the age of 35, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I was really frustrated with that. And so I went out and searched for a career that I could, get fairly quickly. And I landed on STEM. I landed on coding. And so after 8 months of teaching myself how to code, very tenacious, I put what I learned on my resume. And then about 8 months later, 8 months after teaching myself how to code, I put what little I learned on my resume. And actually an automotive software engineering company called me. And so I landed my first job there. And what we did was help develop the blind spot detection, lane change assistance software in your vehicles. I fell in love with coding. I was just tenacious about it in my study. And I wanted to advance in that company. And actually the owner of the company who hired me, he developed his own software.
Wow.
And so I knew that I wanted to be like Mike when I, grew up. That's what I was saying. I wanted to develop software. And so when he sold the company and then he sold the software to the same company, and I was like, wow, that's where, success is for me. And so that's how Code with Sharon was born, chasing those dreams.
Wow, this is so inspiring. Honestly, I'm like, okay, there's a need. Let's just go for it and let's start somewhere and then develop the skills you need, honestly. And I feel like, I hope I see so many likes and hearts here in our live. I'm sure so many people are so inspired by you. So in going back a bit to the 2-Minute Drill show, because obviously it was somehow in person, but not in person show because of obviously the global pandemic. So how was your experience being on a kind of TV show, but not being physically there?
Well, actually, when I started Code with Sharon, I was, looking for investors and I was speaking in front of kids because I actually started volunteering at my son's school because I wanted everybody to learn how to code. And, you start at home. And so I started to volunteer at my son's school. I said, I'll teach him and I'll teach his classmates because coding is a computer language. And so more than one person has to know the language. Yeah, you can know the language, but it's easier when somebody else knows the language too. And now you can communicate with that person. 2 heads are better than one. And it's better if a whole community knows how to code because the way that we're going in the digital future is coding is just as important as reading and math. And science and things like that. And so it's important for our kids to start learning at an early age. And so that's what we do. We we don't like offer job placement. We're not a coding boot camp. What we do is we introduce students to coding where they can, code 1 hour a day, depending on what packages parents purchase, which is our new target market. And that way, because technology changes so rapidly. So if you put your kid in a coding boot camp or a coding course, and then, that's the only coding that they get access to, and then a year later, 5 years later, when they graduate school, technology has changed so much. So we have pivoted into a new market where we are giving micro lessons to students, and parents can purchase them, set their students up for 1 lesson a day, 2 lessons a week, or up to 5 lessons a week, so that they're learning every day and they're keeping up with the rapid changes.
Wow, that's such an inspiration. Honestly, like, also it's so hard to, like, there's a constant change in this area, what you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to keep up, right? So I love what you do, that you have this like more regular teaching base.
Yeah.
And so how old are the kids you're teaching, or how old is your target market in general?
So 5th through 12th grade, right? And so we also have parents who's reaching out. They want coding lessons too. And so we are actually reaching out to that target market and starting to grow that target market as well. We were pre-COVID or pre-coronavirus. Our target market was, youth groups, which it still is, in schools, but schools had closed down due to coronavirus. And then our first major contract that we were negotiating, actually 2 of them were put on hold because of the, school switching to virtual learning. And so they put a lot of stuff on hold. In order to survive, we had to switch. And so we started to look at parents who were very frustrated with their students or their kids' excessive video gaming. And so one parent actually was teaching her child how to drive, and he was underage, just to keep him off of the video game.
Wow.
And so we started to see that these parents didn't have resources. And so we knew that, okay, so we know they love technology, right? So let's teach them how to produce technology instead of consuming it, right? And so that's how we came up with our new value proposition.
And that makes total sense. And I read it, I think, on your Instagram already, like, help them produce the technology and not just use it. I think this is genius, honestly, because right now everybody deals different with the global pandemic, right? And specifically kids, they don't necessarily open up and talk about how they feel, but it's affecting everyone. So kind of, I love what you do, and that you pivoted, right? This is the perfect example. I'm like, well, it doesn't work the way we used to do it. Now we have to change. And this is what entrepreneurial spirit and an entrepreneurial mind is all about, to like pivot. All like, great, okay, the situation has changed, but now, in this craziness which is happening around the world, you found something which gives back hope and like a task for the parents and the kids. And I think your work is so incredibly important. So in behalf of everyone, I feel like all the people in the world, thank you so much for stepping up and doing all of this, because I guess it's hard for you as an entrepreneur too, to find the energy to really pivot and create something new in the midst of a global pandemic.
Yeah, it's really tough, especially as a startup company, right? You're already trying to get your feet on solid ground, and then you get hit by us, directly or solely into the school, providing our services to schools. In January of last year, when the government shut down, that was a big hit for us. And then in March, when coronavirus hit, that was another big blow. And so to pivot, as an entrepreneur, like you say, you have to keep going. You have to be flexible. And so we had this in our business plan, but we had it as a 1-year, milestone. And so what we did was we just reached back in our business plan and pulled it out and just used it early. And it happened to start to work. And so we have parents reaching out. We have a lot of fathers and uncles who, I have an uncle who don't have kids, but he purchased lessons for his nieces and nephew for Christmas. He didn't want to purchase any video games. And so we have those as a group. And so now they're all coding together. And so kids get to be creative. They get to work together. They're learning to speak a new language together. They're building, we're building mobile games and things like that, and websites, and they're really enjoying it. I have parents telling me kids are rushing, can't wait to join the classes. And so I'm really excited about that. We have people reaching out as far as the West Indies, right? And so that's why we're looking for funding, because the ed tech market is $76.4 billion today. it's expected to be 285 billion by 2027.
Wow.
And so we know we're in the right place at the right time. But every company needs some type of infusion of capital to grow and scale.
Yeah, totally. And for everybody who's watching us today, if you want to purchase a class with you, or if they want to support you in any way, just go up there. Your Instagram is linked there, and we will also put your information on our website. So if you go in the link in the bio on the J. Wiltman account, you can also find all the information. We will link your website and everything, so people can totally reach out to you. And I feel like this is also what the whole network is all about, right? To bring people together who do great things, just that kind of to elevate everyone at the end of the day. So in the last
working
question,
together,
sorry, go ahead.
No, just saying we're all working together, so I like that.
Totally. So the last question for our very short but very amazing live session today with you. At the end of the day, I always ask the guests to give like 1 to 3 tips from your entrepreneurial journey, which you think, oh, I wish I would have known these things, you know, so they can kind of take the tips, because many of our listeners and the people who watch us, they are right now in their entrepreneurial journey, and they always love to get an advice from someone like you.
Okay. So 3 tips. My mentor told me your network is your net worth. So who you know is just as important as what you know. It might be more important to some people, right? So the second tip is use the resources in your community. And so what I did was to get to know people in my community that had connections that can help me open doors, was I started to join entrepreneurial workshops that the city offered or different organizations offered. One here in Detroit is Prosper Us Detroit, Build Institute, and things like that. These people know people who can help you. They know where the grants are, the loans are. They can help you, build up your business with your LLC or things like that. So do that as well. Understand that it's not going to be as easy as you think it is, and it's not going to be as hard as you think it is. It's going to be harder. So go after something that you're passionate about, because if you're not passionate about it, you 9 times out of 10, you will quit. Because it's going to get so frustrating. And like people say, it's cliche. It's not a straight road. It's twists and turns. And so constantly staying on our feet is a challenge. Getting up every day, because I love what I do. That's why I do it. You have to be, it's true. You have to be a little bit crazy to do this because it's so difficult. But you stick with it and you'll win.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your tips. I hope everybody took notes.
Thank you.
And will remember. So again, we will link all your details, your website, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, everything on our website to make sure that we can, that people can connect with you. Again, congratulations on the JA Impact Award. We're grateful to welcome you to the JA family, and I hope that we connect very soon again.
We will, and I'm happy to be here. So thank you, and everybody have a great day.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, bye.